the sound of bathroom sink. Her mother would be so proud. Gets on a seat and there's a line to go pee, but the bathroom looks like a war zone.
Welcome in to episode 135 of Fired Up. Check us out at firedupsports.com. I'm Mike Gilletto. Joining me as always, Dom Console. We have a special guest lineup for tonight. Originally from the Philadelphia area, he currently resides in Nashville, Tennessee to pursue a career in music. His new record, the Vinnie Paolizzi LP, is available on all streaming platforms and is a celebration of the songwriter community and feels like being welcomed into his big old Italian family's home on a Sunday, something me and Dom also have in common. Vinny, welcome in and thank you for joining us.
That was one of the best intros I've ever gotten. It's also so nice to hear some real deal Philly accents. I don't get to hear a lot of those.
Not out there in Nashville, I assume.
It's always good to have the greaseball, you know,
Yeah.
the greaseball brother.
I have my parents in town this weekend, and just like even the dinner suggestions, like, what do you want to get? I guess we'll try to find some Italian food. I guess we'll try. Like, we're not still back home. We can get other things, people.
Yeah, right. Gravy or sauce? That's a big debate, right?
I think my family's kind of split. What about you guys?
Split. So me and Dom are cousins. We're the gravy family.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think Dad's son was gravy.
Yeah. So obviously I wanted to talk Eagles with you, talk Birds. Unfortunate loss. But before we get into that, I kind of want to talk about the music stuff. So. I heard the new album.
Yes.
Some really good stuff. The first question I had is kind of what was the process like or inspiration for in making the album?
Yeah. Wow. That's a big question. But for one, I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, of course.
I moved to Nashville. It'll be 6 years in about 2 weeks. I went to Temple. I grew up in Westchester. I don't know how close you guys are there, but and over the last 5-6 years, I've kind of said yes to a lot of things and met a lot of really great people down here, and just been writing about 400 songs in that time. And this is the first time I've really gotten to go to real studio and do the real thing with really great players. And this project was kind of the culmination of all of that. We recorded most of it last year, and I spent the better part of last year and the beginning of this year saving up money to be able to put it out so people all over the country can hear it. And I'm really proud of it. And if I'm so close to it that it's hard for me to even think about it because I'm so proud of it,
Totally.
But yeah, it's kind of gotten to a lot of people's ears, and I'm really grateful for that. So it's been fun. It's been officially out for about 3 weeks, but it's been kind of slowly coming out as singles and music videos and stuff over the course of the year. So it's been really fun to do.
So to answer your question, how far we are from Westchester, if I walk outside of my house, down my steps, and turn to my right, I am about 3 blocks from Citizens Bank Park.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm right in the city. So I feel the need to tell you that.
That's so great.
Yeah. So music. I mean, how did that start for you playing music? At what point in your life did you say you listen to something like, oh, I got to do this?
Yeah. My parents are not musicians, but they're huge music fans. So they had an amazing vinyl collection, and I always was really attracted to the old kind of stuff in the basement, and we had a record player I would put on, and old tapes. We had 1 million cassette tapes, and my dad. I feel like we all grew up in the Springsteen belt. I don't know if you guys have dads that love Bruce Springsteen and Jackson Browne and that whole kind of 70s world. And that's kind of how I connected with my parents and with my aunts and uncles, and so I was just a really big fan. And then I got a guitar. I convinced my sister to ask for a guitar for Christmas, and I ended up taking it about 2 weeks later. And I ended up the next year I asked for a drum set, and I made my other sister ask for a microphone.
Nice.
Well, yeah, because dad can't say no to the daughter, right?
No,
he can never say no to his daughter.
It was actually pretty genius looking back. I'm pretty proud of myself for it. But all that stuff eventually ended up in this little kind of crawl space basement room thing we had, and that was my little this place where I learned how to do everything, and no one told me I stunk, which was great. My parents were so encouraging in the way that they never told me that I sucked for years and
It's a
years.
good sign. It's a good start.
Yeah, and they never told me the tournament turned down. I mean, I was playing drum set at full volume. They never said anything. So
Yeah.
I am a huge like Dave Grohl fan. And
Yeah.
one of the things that he's always said was, you know, growing up, his parents never told him not to listen to this or not to listen to that and not do that. And I kind of grew up very similar. Just my parents and even Mike's dad, my uncle, like just forcing music down my throat, which you know, that's why I love so many different things. You know, I think that's so cool.
Yeah, Dave Grohl's. I think he's such a role model for the stuff he said. I mean, in all those interviews, he always says stuff like that. He always is encouraging to people, and I think to agree with something I've heard him say, like that music, even if it's not your profession or it's not your, you know, what you do every single day, to have it as part of your life is nothing but good. There's rarely an instance where music does anything to hurt anybody. It's just it's such a positive thing for so many people.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's also really hard, so it's endlessly, like, you can do it forever. It's just like golf. Like, you're never going to be the best golfer. Like,
right.
You're forced to keep trying and getting better. And for me, I was ADD like crazy, so I would get stuck playing. I thought I was going to be a drummer forever, and I still am like a frustrated drummer. I wish I was, you know, good enough to really do that. But I would get so frustrated with drums, I would pick up the guitar and do that for 2 weeks, and then I'd, you know, get frustrated with that and pick up something else, and then. This group of friends in my middle school and high school, I wanted to be in this group of friends so bad, and all of them were terrified to sing. They had like the middle school boy, like, I'm not, you know, confident, and I was just like, screw it, I don't care. I'll be the singer if I can play guitar and hang out too. So that's how I like got most of my my first group of friends in middle school and high school.
That's awesome. The question I had is where kind of the passion or love comes, you know, in terms of like country music, because you hear like a kid from Philadelphia from an Italian family, you know, if country music isn't really prominent there. Yeah, so I'm curious where that kind of happened.
Yeah, well, it started with, I mean, if you really dig down and you listen to you know, the 70s rock, whatever it is, and it kind of goes a couple directions. It goes, you know, Zeppelin kind of led into more of the hard stuff, and I was a huge AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, that Aerosmith, that was my thing. And then the veering from like the Eagles and Springsteen and Jackson Brown, and that whole kind of lane was one way. And I really got into songwriting in high school and college. Really, I went to Temple, and there was like a little kind of community of songwriters there that I would go play. I would go sneak into bars, really, and go play like open mics and shows and stuff. And I just got kind of nerded out into 60s and 70s songwriters. So when I was picking a place to move at, you know, after school and everything, I went to New York for a while. I didn't really vibe with it. I went to LA for a couple of weeks. I was just like, wasn't into it. And I went to Nashville, and when I was there for a week, and by the time I left, I had like 10 new friends. I had shows booked. I had co-writes done. I had people that wanted to like participate. And it was all kind of in this almost country. Like it's like, it's not twangy, like banjos on every track and like singing about the old country back home and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it all kind of rides this cool line. And there's enough people in Nashville kind of doing their own brand of, you can call it country, you can call it 100 other things. And that was really inspiring, because I was like, I don't have to be from Alabama to, you know, to throw a banjo on a track if I want to. It might sound good. It might be the best thing for the song that I wrote to put a banjo on this track. So I just found all of that really inspiring. And I really got into Willie Nelson for a long time when I moved here. And, you know, that's obviously, he's like the king. He's our, like, the way our grandparents listen to Frank Sinatra, like all these people down here's grandparents listen to, to those guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's the similarities are actually pretty stark if you look at it.
Yeah, I mean that is the cool thing about Nashville. I feel like, as competitive as it is, it seems very collaborative. Everybody's kind of willing to work together and hype everybody up.
Definitely.
And I think it's really cool, like, especially in a place like Nashville. It's not just country. Like it's there's that, like, the kind of that like new wave of country that's coming right now, like that the like kind of like the folky like Zach Bryan and like those
Totally.
kind of guys that are coming out that are not just doing country music. It's definitely like an alternative country that like, and he's like one of my favorite artists right now. But like, he's kind of doing that thing where like it's the harmonica, it's the acoustic guitar, it's and then his latest album, it's like this big drum. I think it's really cool that a place like Nashville is kind of doing that kind of having that kind of scene.
Totally. And I think that country music does all different there's different versions of it over the course of time. In the last 10 years, really from 2010 to 2 years ago, it was so pop driven and like electronic drums, Shake It Up Girl, Luke Bryan kind of stuff, which like if that's what gets you going, that's all good. But I think people are really craving like real instruments, kind of more earnest and honest songwriting, and I think Stapleton was a huge part of that, just because he goes on tour with him playing guitar, a bass player, and a drummer, and his wife sometimes sings harmonies. Like that's the show. Like there's no crazy like synths or fake drums or like background dancers or fire or pyrotechnic. Like that's the show, and I think people really connect with that. It's very honest.
I think it's like a perfect time too. Like 2023 is like almost 2024 now. It's like the world is ready for so many different things. Where like years ago, you kind of went from like the Johnny Cash to like and Willie Nelson to like in like the 90s, kind of country music kind of had like a resurgence, and then like you said, then in like the 2000s, 2010 to 15, it was like Florida Georgia Line, like those like places you go out to a bar and like you kind of just dance to but now it's like I that's what I love about music, especially today. It's like there's so much out there.
Yeah,
and I think country music is definitely in that like that scene now.
Yeah. Have you guys been to Nashville? Have you guys ever come down?
I have. I
haven't. I've heard it's a freaking blast.
I mean, for one thing, it's the easiest flight of all time from Philly. It's an hour and 20 minutes. But the craziest time having to do with sports, when the Eagles played the Titans, that was my first year here, 2018. We ended up losing in overtime. But that whole week, like, it was so wild. The entire city was just overrun with Eagles fans. It was absolutely insane. We played a show the Saturday night before the game, and I'm telling you, the Eagles chant I heard in that place was the loudest Eagles chant I've ever heard in my entire life. It was insane.
I have another quick question. So what is it like? What goes through your mind when like, like you said, you moved to New York, you tried New York, you did LA, you tried LA, and then you went to Nashville, and you kind of found a home. Like going after your dream, kind of. What is it like just saying to your parents, like, listen, I especially coming from an Italian family, it's not very easy to be like, let me pack my bags and go follow a dream. I think my mom would like. I'm sure your mom went crazy when she heard that. You know what I mean? So what was that like, packing your bags and being like, you know what, I gotta go follow my dream.
So my parents' two families knew each other in Italy, and moved to Devon in 1920 or whatever. And my parents ended up getting married, whatever, in the 80s, and had us and everything. But no one from like my mom's one of 7, dad's one of 4. No one is left like from Devon to Westchester. Like no one is out of that area. So the fact that I was going to move halfway across the country was like, it like no one could figure it. And everyone was like, you're going to do what? Like, you're going to, how are you going to make money? Like, how are you going to live? And I'll give my parents credit. They definitely like didn't get it at first, but they have come around. And once they see like, it was cool this weekend. My friend Meg McCree, who I moved here right around the same time as, and we've written a million songs together. She's featured on my record. We were pulling into town from the airport, and she was on a billboard, like right as you come into Nashville. Spotify got her a billboard because her record's doing really well. And little things like that along the way have happened. One of my songs got mentioned in Rolling Stone, like my second year, third year here. And just that, like those little things along the way, I think they kind of realized that for one thing, I've worked really hard, and I'm not gonna say that. Like I really try to make the most out of my time here. But at first, especially like aunts and uncles were like, "What are you?" what are you and my grandfathers, I don't think my grandfathers ever got it. I don't think they ever have understood. But I do get home. I mean, man, I was in Philly 5 times this year, just for played a couple shows and did, we do a week in Sea Isle every year, just like every good Italian family does. I'm still really connected to it, and we're expecting our first baby. So
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And I think my parents are going to be, and family have all expressed that they, are going to be here, and we're going to try to be there for a lot of things. And it's interesting, and I don't know if this is even part of the podcast, but the time that you spend with each other when you don't live in town is something that I actually really like now, because when you go see somebody for a weekend, like, you're not just stopping in for dinner and then leaving. Like, you're there for the whole weekend, and you get like almost 3 days worth of time, but it's like 24 hours of each of time with your family, and you spend it differently. I don't know. It a part of it feels more meaningful than just, going to dinner with your folks and then going home. You know what I mean? It's
sure.
it's a little more
Absolutely.
intentional,
Absolutely, and there's no distractions because you're focused on spending time with the family while they're in.
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I also love that I mean, obviously it's important to you because you're rocking a Phillies hat. Like, it's.
Oh, this is not just Phillies hat. This is the 2008 World Series.
Okay, I didn't even
There
see
you
that.
go.
There you go. Yep.
This is like my prized possession.
I'm a really, really big hat guy. I wear a hat every show.
Yeah.
I bought a hat. I don't wear it. I bought a hat with the patch on the front, the 08 patch on the front. It's white. Yeah, it's sick, man.
That is cool.
It's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, I only buy one when they win. I
Yeah.
almost bought the Eagles one last year, but I was like, I want the win. I want the NFC Championship hat.
Right.
That's pretty.
Yeah,
lame,
because then when you look at it, you're in pain.
yeah. So I have an Eagles one. That's the same thing, but it has the Super Bowl they won on it. So those are my two. I'm a pretty big hat guy too, and those are my two favorites for sure.
Absolutely. All right, so let's. I want to kind of pick your brain with the Birds. Two tough losses in a row. Obviously, coming off Dallas week.
So
Where are you at? Are you still optimistic? You ready to jump off a cliff? Do we have to talk you off of it? Where's your mind at?
I'm less worried about the defense than I am about the defense has just been exhausted. Like, I don't know how you're supposed to keep up when 3 turnovers on the 30-yard line and in, 3 fumbles on the on drives that and I mean, I think just red zone offense, especially, like, we have a running back that I don't know what his yards per carry is, but it has to be at least top 3rd in the league, and we pass on first down so often. I don't get it.
I think they pass on first down. I think they pass on first down a lot because they're able to go for it on 4th down. At least that's what I've been hearing is. Or I don't know if it was the radio or one of the pregame shows about a week or two ago had actually mentioned that, and I was the same way. I was like, why do they throw so much on first down? And then it was like, okay, well, if they get in 3rd and short, it's they can run the ball on 3rd and 6 and still go for it on 4th down. So on
our half of midfield, 2nd and 6 is so much better than 2nd and 10.
Yeah,
like so much better. It's like not even. There's no comparison, and we have Swift, Boston Scott, and Gainwell. So someone's always going to be fresh and we have the best offensive line possibly in history. And
you have a running quarterback.
It's no sense to. And I never even played football. I watch it obviously religiously, but I can't imagine that these weekly meetings, all this stuff. I can't imagine what the strategy is there. I don't understand it. But who knows?
Yeah, it is weird because it feels like every week we're talking about the running, the lack of running, right? So it's incredibly frustrating. But no, I agree. I think offense is almost a bigger issue than defense because defense, I think it's a personnel thing, right? Like the linebackers have struggled, the secondary is getting a little older, but offense, you have weapons all over the field. It's like, how are you not scoring points? They didn't score a single offensive touchdown.
Unreal
against the Cowboys.
And the Cowboys are good, but they're a physical team. But they're not overly big. They're not overly like overpowered. Our offensive line's playing great. It's just I don't know.
Yeah,
Geno Smith just hung 30 something on him last week.
35. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a concern. I said in the group chat yesterday, like, it's the fact that like we have this defense and they're not playing well, but it's like we lost guys like T.J. Edwards and C.J. Gardner-Johnson and those guys and they're replaced with guys that like Nicholas Morrow, who's probably not the best linebacker in the league, but like we have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts. So like I agree. I think both are a big problem, but the offense scoring 19 and then 13 yesterday, 2 weeks in a row. I think they got outscored 75-32 in the last 2 weeks at home, or one at home and one in Dallas. But yeah, I think the offense is a real problem. And there's no creativity.
No. Well, and Jalen's got to choose on. He's got RPO on so many plays, and I think it just has to be simpler because you can tell he's second guessing. He's not confident, and that when he is confident, he's the best quarterback in the league in my opinion. But you can tell something's up with the offense. I don't know if Sirianni's calling the plays. I don't know if Desai's doing it all the time. They said Sirianni's doing the first half, and then I don't know.
I'm very curious. I'm curious. I wonder if, because obviously the knee has been bothering him all year. Hurts.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of stopped him from, running a lot more than he has in the past. I'm curious if that's really limiting his decision making. I don't know how, but I don't know. It's a head scratcher these last few weeks.
Well, even the games they've won, those 4 wins in a row, they look,
especially in the first half. Yeah.
I thought my wife was gonna have to leave the house. She had to go to our bedroom and just close. We have a tiny little house, and she was like, "You're gonna start throwing things at the TV."
Oh, I thought because she was upset about the Eagles.
Yeah, well, no, she's like
she's just hiding from you. Yeah,
yeah, they're winning and you're screaming at the TV, and I'm like, you don't get it.
Did you ever see that? I told this to my wife a couple weeks ago. Like there was a video that was on TikTok. I think I saw it. It was like, yeah, I've known you for 15 years, but I've loved them for 30.
Yeah, 100%. And it's so interesting because Nashville has the Titans, but honestly, some people are. I know 3 diehard Titans fans total, and there's a lot of people here. But it's so hard to explain how deep the pro sports stuff runs. I mean, I guess it's similar to the SEC football stuff here. Because people that didn't even go to Alabama or UT or anything, they grow up with these teams, and that is
it's like Penn State here.
100%.
Guys, people that don't go to Penn State love Penn State.
Yeah, but the pro sports for us, I mean, I like, especially for me, it was really Phillies and Eagles. I actually played ice hockey, so growing up, I followed the Flyers like crazy. Since I've moved here, the Flyers have not been very good, and they're harder to get on TV because
It's funny they're actually in Nashville right now. They play tomorrow night in Nashville.
I know. And this weekend, we almost stayed a little bit, but my sister actually played hockey at Penn State. My family's big, big hockey family. So my dad played in college and stuff. But anyways, it was really Flyers, Eagles, Phillies, Sixers when AI was on the team. Huge. Over later years, I wasn't as into the Sixers, but when I was at college. At Temple, the Sixers were so bad that we could get $2 seats at the game time from Craigslist for $3. And then people who had internships and could get us down to the lower half because they wanted the stadium to look full. So they would take us from the top. It was awesome.
And it still never did look full, but you benefited from it.
I know some people from the New York area, and they've told me that when the Mets sucked, that's what they when the new stadium opened up after their World Series run in 2015.
Yeah.
Before they got good again, that they would have people come sit down low.
That's so great. The Phillies have gone through slumps like that where you can get a ticket for $20, and especially if you're right down the street from the stadiums, man, that must be nice. If you're hey,
listen, you could this past season we got tickets for $28. I mean, you're sitting in the 300s, but you get in there. Yeah, you get in there for under $30.
You don't even have to find a seat. Just stand behind home plate and you're fine. Just
Well,
stand
we
up.
we had a little bit of a problem there this year. You and I.
Well, we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
We went to a Phillies Mets game, the standing room for like $20 or whatever.
And
Yeah.
they were
And
completely
it
sold
was
out.
tough. Yeah, it was tough
Yeah.
to find a standing.
Oh, you
standing
couldn't
room.
even find it. Wow, I
No.
forgot about the standing tickets that they do. I didn't know they still did that.
Yeah.
Well, they have a whole section now. I think it's right down the right down the first base line, right field, kind of.
Yep.
On
Mhm.
the right side of the pole, they have like the first like 5 or 6 rows now of just tabletop, like bar
that's
top,
cool.
like and they have some of them have stools. So we hung out there for a little while, but
I think live baseball and live ice hockey are my two favorites. Live football, I honestly would rather watch on TV. I
agree.
you can never see, but live baseball, like we have a minor league team here, and same thing. Tickets are $16 or $17. You go out, there's $3 beer night or something like that. Such a great night, like it's such a fun thing. And I there's rumors that Nashville's getting a baseball team.
I was about to ask you about that. Yeah.
Apparently the White Sox are not super happy where they're at, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, whether it's a team currently or expansion, like eventually there will be a team in Nashville.
It's growing like crazy, man.
Yeah.
and that kind of affects us a little bit because I think Dombrowski said that it's like in his contract or something that if Nashville were to like have an expansion team or a team move there, he's allowed to go work for them. Like
Yeah.
otherwise he'd have to wait for his contract to end up. There's no other team he could leave.
Which is a very weird
except for
clause in
Nashville.
the contract. It's very
Yeah.
strange.
I don't know if he's from the area or what his ties are to the area. But yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild. Yeah, I hope it happens. I mean, the stadium they want to build is kind of preposterous. It's like $2.5 billion, and the stadium we have, it seems fine, but we'll see if they go through with it.
It's kind of crazy that like places like I know the A's are moving to Vegas, but like Vegas and Nashville, like those areas didn't already have, those expansion teams 20 years ago.
There's this story that people talk about all the time. In I think it's 1950 or 1960, Nashville and Louisville both had 50,000 people, and now
okay.
Louisville still has like whatever, a couple 100,000, and Nashville has 2 million almost.
Oh, it's huge.
It's
Yeah.
just exploded. So
It's kind of like San Antonio, yeah.
Yeah. And the tourism, man. People come to Nashville and just eat and drink and listen to music for like 7 days. Like that's like a whole. It's like a whole vacation now. It's crazy. That's
why Nashville and Vegas work. Those two areas work because they draw so much outside of just like San Antonio. What are you going to San Antonio for? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like a top 10 populated city in the country, I think. But like, what else are you like? There's nothing else to do there. So places like Nashville and Vegas is like perfect.
Then now that you live there, I mean, you can't treat Nashville like you're a tourist or anything. You'll die in a month. Like you know what I mean? Because
you should see what they're charging for like a Coors Light. I mean, if you're down on Broadway, you better bring your checkbook. But it is cool. If you are in town, like it's harder to find, but like off the beaten path, like this place I'm playing tonight is on just east of town, and it's this little kind of hole in the wall with like a stage in the corner, and it's in this area where a lot of musicians can afford to actually live. So people come out that are like, my first time I was ever there, Chris Stapleton's band was backing up this like legendary guitar player named Kenny Vaughn, and they were just like all hanging out, like they're just walking around, whatever, like just being cool. And the whole like, if you would have seen how many cool people came in, like all players in the Nashville world, all people that play stadiums, all just hanging out at this little bar. And if you're in town and you really like do a little bit of digging, you can find like really cool little pockets of Nashville.
It's definitely on the bucket list.
You gotta
absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll take a trip, Dom. We'll head out there.
And the Eagles only play the Titans once every 6 years.
Right.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Aren't they getting a new stadium, Titans too? Aren't
Yeah.
they? At some point, I don't know when.
Really approved.
It's not okay.
The stadium is like 20 years old. It was just not built great. It's just not it's kind of an ugly stadium, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So there's plan, but it's right, like you cross this little bridge from Broadway, like the neon lights and the bars and the whole thing. You cross from the stadium, you go right downtown. So I mean, it's like the perfect setup for, and on the other side of Broadway is the Preds Stadium. So every Preds game, lets out at whatever time, and then all those bars are just full. Like
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
could
it's so
imagine.
fun. Yeah,
Go
Pred's the
ahead.
best.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, Preds are just the most fun franchise we have by a mile.
So 2019, the NFL draft was in Nashville. Were you around for that or?
Yeah. So 2017, the draft
Yes.
in Philly.
I was there. Yep.
And I was living in the city and working in the suburbs, and I got caught in that freaking traffic every single day when they were setting it up, and there was all that construction. It was driving me absolutely insane. 2019, my second year in Nashville, I guess, the thing is right in my way again. If I never see the NFL draft again, I will be a happy guy because it was very cool to see, obviously, like, the big screen and the whole town and everything. But I was so sick of sitting in traffic every day trying to
Yeah,
get
the crossfires. Yep, twice.
Yeah, I feel like it was following me.
So what year did you move there?
I moved here.
2018.
Yeah, it was very poetic. It was January 1st of 2018. I played a New Year's gig in Westchester, and then I woke up January 1st. Car was packed and took off. I didn't have a job. I had nothing going on. I didn't have one friend. It was crazy.
Well, I'm curious. 2 years into living, I guess 2.5 years living there.
Yeah,
fairly new to a new city. The COVID shuts everything down. What was that kind of like?
dude, it was what. And not only that, my wife and I started dating in 2019. She was living in Louisville, Kentucky at the time. Long story, we met while she was in Nashville, blah, blah, blah. We had kind of planned on moving in together at some point, but it just happened. Like, we found this place and whatever, she found a job and whatever. We ended up setting the date for April 1st of 2020. So not only did the world shut down, I lost not only my job, my side job, like everything's gone. And then we moved in together after being like long distance for a year, and both living in our own places for the 3 years before that, like having our own space. So we get like locked in the house together during a global catastrophe, and I lose both my jobs. So we were like, if we were,
it's like a movie.
Yeah, like if we were going to make it, it was going to be right there. You know what I mean? So, like we always say, we feel like we lived like that first year. We feel like we lived like 10 years of a marriage in that first year of our, first, I guess, second year of our relationship. But it was tough. It kind of put a lot of things into perspective about like, not wasting time and like trying to like get things going, so I'm really grateful for all the shows I get to play now. Like this show tonight that's happening is in this tiny little place. I think they were closed for like a year and a half or a year,
wow.
Or they did like super limited, like you only have like 20 people in there or something. And a lot of businesses didn't make it, man. I mean, that's just the unfortunate reality. It was a little less strict here than up where you guys are, but it was still tough. But I got back to touring kind of beginning of 2020, or like mid to end of 2021. I started back, touring and stuff.
What's your favorite city? Like to when you go on tour?
Man, it's the thing. You just have great nights in certain places.
Yeah, sure.
We've had a really great time in like Colorado, like Denver, those places. I had a really good time in Florida. I've had really good times in Florida. I play this festival in Key West every year. That is like so much fun. I love seafood too. So like being in a landlocked state, I don't get to eat a lot of great seafood. And then you go to an island where the oldest fish they can serve is 18 hours old. So it's just like,
it's like really fresh.
Yeah, it's just like the greatest of all time. I've had some great times in New York. I've had some horrible times in New York. So, that I really like being there because it feels like when you play a show there, it really feels like a big deal, even if it's just like a little club. Like playing in New York City just for some reason feels, bigger. And I love Annapolis, Maryland too, of all places.
Okay.
Just a really cool town. I think that's the list.
Did you have any opinions about the upcoming Philly season?
Or the closing of the Philly season?
Or the closing? Yeah, well, I figured that'd be too much pain to talk about right now.
Well, I mean, I really liked parts of the season. I thought it's a fun run. I love that they're competitive again. Those 8 years or 10 years where they stunk were brutal.
Brutal.
for a 162 game season to lose that many games is just brutal. Like I can't get into it. I hate to say that, but it's so hard to like stay, loyal during, especially when I don't live there. You know what I mean? Like but I really like the team. I'm not the biggest Castellanos fan. I think we could do better, even though we spent so much money. I don't know if he's going to a hitting coach of some kind, but I feel like he shows up, but I feel like when both years in the World Series, he really just like didn't do anything.
Yeah. He was cold, very, very easy.
Or what series did you have the 3 home runs in one game? Or that was in the Brave series, was it? I think that was in the Brave series, yeah, which was amazing.
Or was it the Marlins?
Like
or was it against the Marlins?
No, I don't think it was the Marlins.
I think it was the Brave series.
I think it was the Brave series. Yeah, and I shouldn't talk shit. I mean, I couldn't hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. So,
well, you're not getting paid $20 million a year or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
So much money.
Yeah, exactly.
So much or whatever.
So much you can't even trade it.
No,
that's gonna be the hard part.
Yeah, nobody wants it. Is Rhys Hoskins? I haven't even kept up. Is he still rehabbing? Like, what's the plan?
I was watching Hostove today, actually, the MLB Network. Looks like the Cubs. The Cubs might be the team that's interested in him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think he's gone.
Because Bryce is gonna play first, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Castellanos and right. I guess Marsh and Rojas center and left.
I don't think Rojas starts the year, but
I don't either.
I think he's in the minors. I think he starts in the minors.
He can't hit, right? I mean, he was like 0 for 11 and then 0 for 15 and then 1 for 17. I mean, tough.
In the playoffs, he was bad. The regular season, he was okay at hitting, but the playoffs,
he hit 300.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would say like it's that those teams that in the regular season that are not playoff teams that just when you reach the playoffs, those good teams have tape on you and they know your weakness and they're better teams, so it's a little bit tougher.
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely. Dom, got anything else? Vinny's got places to be. So.
I know. Unfortunately, I'm.
I don't think so, man. I was listening to the album today, man. I enjoyed it a lot. I added a couple songs on the playlist.
Thanks.
I followed you on Instagram, man. You're a good follow, so everybody go follow him on Instagram.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's really it.
Well, Vinny, thank you so much for joining us. It's a lot of fun. Always enjoy talking birds. So
I know, and I think I had another one of these scheduled with a Philly podcast or something, and it was supposed to be right after the Chiefs game, and I was like kind of pumped because we were going to talk about this great Philly, and then they rescheduled it for I think Wednesday or Thursday of this week, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go on there and just like cry again and just be.
I see that when we scheduled it, we are like, all right, Monday after the Dallas game, it's going to be great. Talking about an Eagles victory against the Cowboys and 33-13 loss.
Oh.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys.
Thanks a lot, man.
Absolutely.
Later.
All right, so there we go. A lot of good stuff. He's like a good dude.
He's a cool dude.
I enjoyed that conversation a lot.
Yeah.
Especially because like it's really cool. I mean, it's being from the area is very important to him, which is really awesome. So like no matter how far he gets in his career and all that sort of stuff, like he's never gonna forget where he came from.
And specifically to be like from like I would say, there's Philadelphia, Boston, New York, Chicago. Kind of a little bit of LA, like those are the Dallas, like those are the places that have the big, like outside communities, like the outside counties that kind of share the city, and it's the appreciation that this city has for its own people too, is kind of the coolest part.
For sure. Oh man. All right, so did you have anything else with the Eagles game you wanted to touch on? I know we didn't really touch a whole. We didn't really touch a whole lot with them, but brutal.
4 fumbles.
Was it 4?
Yeah, Hurts had 2, 1 rushing, 1 as a quarterback, and then AJ Brown and Devontae Smith.
I mean, you could kiss the MVP goodbye for Hurts, right? Unless he like goes stupid.
He could light it up the next 4, and Dak could kind of fall off, or Purdy kind of fall off a little bit the next 4. I'm not even worried about the MVP. I don't give a shit.
No, I know you don't, but that's the conversation everybody goes to. But even if he does have good stats, people are just going to look at the turnovers and I mean, I can't believe we're still dealing with turnovers because it was.
Well, he had almost this. He's not even. I don't think he's anywhere. Not that he's anywhere near close, but he had a lot of turnovers last year. I think he's.
No, I don't think so. Did he?
He had 9 fumbles last year. He's at 7 already. 4 games left. He was second in MVP.
Hold on.
So
did
he
he
might
have
have
that
8
many?
fielding? Yeah, he might have 8 this year.
Maybe
But
it was
I was looking.
Maybe
at
it was the interceptions that was different. Maybe he had more interceptions this year than
I don't
last year.
remember if I looked up the fumbles before or after they happened. So it's either 7 or 9, somewhere between 7 and 9. But he's gonna have the same amount of turnovers he had last year, probably, if I had to guess.
For some reason, Pro Football Reference does not have fumbles.
Yeah,
It has interception. Does it?
Yeah, as a rusher. I mean, I know you can fumble as a quarterback, but I don't think they have that.
I'm
If
showing Jalen Hurts is.
Yeah, I think if you scroll down, hold on, I was looking at it yesterday.
Oh, I see it. I got it. Yep,
Yeah.
I got it.
What's he at?
Fumble. Okay,
This
he had
is
9
just as
last
a
year.
this is just as rushing. Rushing.
Right. So this doesn't count, I guess, sacks. Oh, maybe it does. I don't know. But he had 9 last year. He's 8 right now. So yeah,
Yeah.
I, mean, I guess he did. Yeah, he did have 9. I didn't realize that.
He said I think he has a 9 every year, or at least the first 2 years he started. I don't know.
Yeah,
about
he
his
did
rookie year.
9, 9, 9, and now 8. So I mean, fumbling the ball is like a legit issue with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, it is. And then I mean, he's got a lot of picks this year, but
10. Yeah.
yeah, he's gonna have the most he's ever had. It's just would be 5 more than he had last. You know what I mean? If he doesn't have another fumble or interception.
Right. So. Yeah, I mean, I know we talked a little bit about it with Vinny, but like, if you like, what are you the most concerned about? I mean, is it the offense?
I mean, to be blown out at home against, I mean, obviously we talked about it last week, but against the Niners, but like, I really think the whole team stinks right now.
Yeah. Yep.
It's really everything.
And even guys like, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith that we could usually rely on, like they looked off
Horrible.
against the Cowboys.
Both fumbled, both dropped touchdowns.
In the end zone. Both of them were in the end zone. Yeah.
Right. I mean, the officiating sucked the last 2 weeks, especially this past week. But you know what? I thought they weren't even great against Dallas either. The penalties that they caught against Dallas, I thought some of them were a little, ticky tacky. But there were a lot of flags yesterday, especially in the first half. Like it felt like every third play was a flag.
Yeah, and then you get some, that get picked up. It's just
right.
Like the first,
Two.
the second one I kind of understood. This first one is weird. Like when you
What
ever
was
see
the second one again?
The second one was the pick at the goal line, 1 yard. They were on the 1 yard line.
Oh,
They threw a little slant, and the guy set a pick.
I don't disagree
on
with
the
that.
goal line. I think that was all right. I'm fine with them picking up that flag, but the hold, when you see a hold get picked up,
Yeah.
because like the ref that threw it clearly saw something.
yeah. I mean,
So it's a little weird.
his hand was inside of his
Right.
shoulder
Yeah.
pad. Like I don't, But and Slay's getting a lot of heat. I thought he played good yesterday. Honestly,
Did you see his stats? His
He was
his pro
4 targets,
4
he gave
targets,
up-
0 catches. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was, by all counts,
I don't,
he did
I
his
don't
job.
Understand.
Like,
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, Bradbury was fucking burnt toast yesterday, but I don't. What's the hate with Slay? I don't know. And that,
Yeah,
that
I don't
penalty
know.
was horrible too. A horrible call.
I'm
The
trying
pass
to think of-
interference.
Oh yeah. It was bad. Yeah, I agree.
And then he comes out for a play to take a breather because this whole defense has played fucking 80 snaps every week. Not
Yep.
really 80, but
Well, when the offense keeps fumbling the ball,
it's
you're on
tough.
30. Like it's
he comes out, takes a breather, and I think that's when Ringo gave up a touchdown, maybe, or it was a big play. I forget what play it was. But,
yeah.
I think the whole team's a concern. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think this coach really has to sit down and really they have to figure it out.
And actually
Get a hold
think,
of your team.
Yeah, and actually the defense played okay in the second half. They weren't
Yeah.
great, but I thought they were all right. They finally got a little pressure to Dak. Like we keep talking about. I mean, that's what their bread and butter was last year, getting to the quarterback, and they just haven't done it this year. So once you start to do that, and you kind of get in his face, I mean, you can make things happen.
But then you have the same problem that they've been having all year. It's like that 3rd and long. Like they just
Yeah.
can't not give it up. Like I don't understand.
Yeah, I wonder like what the issue is there. Because like on 3rd down, it's like I mean, it's probably not literally this, but it feels like a 95% chance they get it.
Yeah. I think it was actually like I thought I read it yesterday on Twitter. It was like
It's probably around 80%.
I think it was in like the high 60s, which is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
They're
So
ranked they're the 32nd ranked defense against on 3rd down.
Yeah,
So
and
they're the
you're
worst in
not
the league.
You're not going to win many football games that way. Somehow
You're-
they managed to win 10.
I've been saying it all year, man. You know what? This pass defense is so bad. The middle of this defense is so bad. I just don't know how they win. I don't know how they win in the playoffs.
Dude.
Especially with the way their offense is playing. Like you're gonna have to outscore teams and like, the 2 Super Bowls that we saw in the last 6-7 years, whatever it was, against New England and now last year against Kansas City. It's like it's a shootout.
Yeah,
So
and
gonna have
his
to be that way
offense
again.
should be good enough to
Right.
compete with the in the shootouts.
and you know what? I actually thought Hurts didn't play too bad yesterday.
I thought he was okay. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think he wasn't great. He wasn't terrible. I thought he was fine.
I mean, there was a play early in the game. He rolled out to his left, and Lawrence got in his face, and Chris Collinsworth goes, "That's a great play by Demarcus Lawrence." Dude, he threw it. What was it, Devontae who dropped the ball? He threw it right in his hands, and he dropped the ball, and it's like, that's a drop. And then he dropped the touchdown, and then AJ Brown had like 2 or 3 drops. Like it's just like any time that he made a play, it's just like his guy couldn't make the catch. I don't understand.
Yeah, and one thing that I thought they were gonna do, especially early on, and because they hit him a couple times early on, is like you finally get Dallas Goedert back. They hit him a couple times early, and I thought he was really gonna be a difference maker. You finally get him back, but after that, they really didn't go to him all that much.
And I really want to see them run the ball early in the game.
Well, yeah, that
I
too.
do.
Yeah.
Like I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe we watch a different game. I don't know. Than Sirianni does. I guess I don't know.
Well, no,
With
I think it's a passing league, and they see all these other teams throw the ball all over the place, and I think it's partially the defense is. I don't know if it's that he doesn't trust the defense because I don't think he'll ever admit that, but it's you're constantly down, so you're constantly trying to throw the ball to outscore your opponent. Is I think where it stems from.
The only hope that I have is that, and it seems like it's going to be this year. A lot of coaching jobs are going to be available. So hopefully we can get 2 new coordinators next year.
Yeah,
because these 2 guys get a job. I mean, I don't think Desai would, but they're saying Brian Johnson. They're saying Brian Johnson actually might be one of the early favorites to land a job.
Yeah,
a lot of teams are going to be interested.
We did. Sometimes we've learned it this year. Sometimes the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
So, what the Eagles teams reminded me of, and correct me if I'm, or if I'm off base here, let me know. They remind me a lot of the Steelers team from a couple years ago. The team that went the start of the year 11-0.
Yeah.
Everybody thought they were great, and then I think they lost the next handful of however many games, and they got bounced in the first round, and they ended up being frauds. I see this season going similar.
I don't know that the Eagles are that good though. Like I know that they have 10 wins. Like Pittsburgh was really, really good. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh was really, really good. And they kind of just blew it. Like look at the amount, and we talked about when Vinnie was on. Like, look at how many of the games they did win when they probably shouldn't have, or like they were horrible in the first quarter or the first half. You didn't really see that with that Steelers team, I don't think. So, that was definitely a worse choke job. But yeah, I've been saying it all year on the show, off the show, in our group chat. Like, this pass defense is gonna have a hard time in the playoffs. You know what I saw? I want to get your opinion. If the Eagles get the 1 seed, it's likely they get the bye, and then they play. It's likely that they play Dallas.
I saw this,
and then it's likely they play San Francisco, or they get the 2 seed and they likely play the Packers, likely play the Lions, and then likely go to San Francisco. Like the 2 seed doesn't sound too bad.
Here's where I would rather take the 1 seed. You're gonna have to play good teams regardless in order to get to the Super Bowl.
Right, but you're gonna play 2 less.
I understand that. I understand if Jalen Hurts is seriously dealing with something, that extra week I think is important of rest. And not even just Hurts, just the entire team. Just
Yeah.
the extra week, the bumps and bruises that you can kind of rest for a week, I think is important.
What if they get the 2 seed before? I don't know if this is possible, but they get the 2 seed before the last week of the season, and he has a week to sit. I mean, if they get the 1
sure,
seed, he's got,
then sure.
Let's say
the two sounds good.
Well, let's say they get the 1 seed before the. I don't know if this is possible, but they get the 1 because they have to win out, right? To get the 1 seed,
To get the 1 seed,
and San Fran has to lose one of their remaining games. I think it is.
yes, yeah. I mean, the San Fran could essentially lose a couple of them, and then the Eagles don't have to win out. But yeah, it's something.
Right,
like that, yeah.
right. I was gonna say, what if they're the 1 seed, and they get it before the final week? Then you have 2 weeks off. Like, is that a bad thing or a good thing? Like, but I don't know if that's possible.
I don't know. Now we're
Yeah.
galaxy braining it.
Yeah.
Whoa,
did you see that? Holy shit.
Let's see what I'm not watching. What you're watching, probably.
I'm watching Monday Night Football.
I'm
There's
not,
2
no.
games on, apparently.
Yeah, it's weird. And they started like the same time too. I think.
Yeah. So I'm watching. It's halftime for the Giants game, and
God,
they
awful
did
game.
like a pro. It's better than the other one.
what's the other one? Dolphins and
Titans.
Titans.
They did a promo for the college playoff, and the fucking Texas Longhorn went after the Bulldog.
Okay.
Like the real animals. I thought he was
Really?
gonna kill him. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I love that.
Yeah. Sorry, that caught me off guard. But
Speaking of around the NFL, real quick, we were on Sunday. We were over a friend's house, and Red Zone was on, and a buddy of ours said something about like Joe Flacco with the Browns. I was like, Joe Flacco. I was like, do you know
Yeah.
what I got? Apparently, Joe Flacco's with the Browns. I think it's the second week or two, something.
last
or
2
is this
weeks.
the first week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't know
That's the
this
second
until literally Sunday. And the Browns are like now good with him. They're better with him than they were with Watson.
I don't know about that.
Well, I'm might be going a little far, but they
They're
scored
7-5.
points.
They're 7-5.
scored a lot of points.
Or before going into this week, they were 7-5.
They're
but-
putting up points though.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean,
I was
if you're
surprised.
gonna
I don't know,
ask
it
me,
just caught me
you're
off
gonna
guard.
ask me if I'd rather have Joe Flacco or Deshaun Watson. I mean,
Well, what are we talking about?
come on.
man? what are we talking about? Well,
2030,
Watson-
2023.
Deshaun Watson does do a lot of coming on.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna say it, but
Oh man.
I'll tell you after the show. But no, I mean he looked great yesterday. He looked like 2013 Joe Flacco.
Yeah, seriously. MVP, Super Bowl MVP
Stop.
Joe Flacco.
I think you were gonna say he's the MVP.
No, I'm saying he looked like Super Bowl MVP Joe
yeah.
Flacco. It's crazy Joe
Um,
Flacco is a Super Bowl MVP.
He was really good for like 5 years, man. Maybe
I
even
mean,
longer.
He was okay. I don't know. He wasn't that
He
great.
won big games, dude.
No, I understand that. But like, I don't know. Those defenses were really good too.
He's kind of like an Eli Manning. Like they're kind of in the same, like maybe
Yeah.
Eli's a little bit better, but they're big moments in the playoffs.
Totally. Oh, totally.
I forget what were we talking about.
I was talking about Joe Flacco.
Okay.
I don't remember what we were talking about before that.
Yeah.
Got sidetracked. Oh, you were talking about animals killing each other on
Yeah.
Monday Night Football.
But yeah,
What,
no,
what's the score of that game?
I don't know. It's halftime. I
Didn't you
think
have
it's
it
a
on?
really bad game.
Oh, they're both terrible games.
Yeah, they're both really bad. It is 10 to. They're both 10-7 at halftime. Both games.
Okay. Yeah, 90% of football games suck. I'll be honest. They just do.
Well, that's every sport though. Like most of every sport, unless you have like the top teams, they all
I
kind
don't know
of
that
suck.
I don't
too.
know that I agree with that.
Okay. What was a good? What was aside from like 3 games in the playoffs for like MLB? What was like? What like how many bad like the Dodgers series sucked?
Yeah, that suck. It's because you have the teams like the Diamondbacks.
There was
Nobody
one
gives a shit
good game
about
against the
Diamondbacks.
Braves for the Phillies. The Phillies' last 2 games kind of sucked, not because they lost, but because nothing happened.
Yeah, I guess.
That's sports.
Yeah, maybe I just don't like sports anymore. Maybe that's it.
I'm coming to that conclusion for myself too.
The podcast is gonna end.
Yeah.
The end. It's the last episode of Fired Up
Well,
Sports.
no, we're not going to end. We're just going to rebrand.
Rebrand. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
the Fired Up music.
Yep.
Oh man, no, I'm not watching that. I'm watching hockey instead.
I know. Well, speaking of hockey, I got my
Love it.
my sweatshirt on. Flyer sweatshirt. I'm actually gonna miss a week in January because I'm going to a game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What-
it's a Monday
what
night game. Pittsburgh, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I got
Dude,
free
the
tickets.
Flyers are fun. The Flyers are the best team in the city.
Listen, I read a tweet today. It said, or did you send it? Maybe you sent it. It was like
don't
the
remember
Flyers.
what I
The Eagles burned so that the Flyers could soar or something.
No,
or something
Chris
like
sent that in the group
that.
chat.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
What did it say? Let me pull it up here. Karen State of Philly Sports. Are the Flyers back? Yes. What did it cost? The Eagles.
Yeah.
As you know, the Flyers and hockey's my number one sport. I'll take that trade. I know Philadelphia's going to be at me with pitchforks, but
Not yet. In like 2-3 years, I would take that. If it meant if you told me that, all right. See, I'm sick because I would take like another Eagles Super Bowl over anything.
sure, yeah, I'm sure.
But I don't know if you told me like the Eagles were gonna suck for like 2 years, but the Flyers were gonna win like even one Stanley Cup. I think I'd take that.
Well, yeah, we've seen the
Right.
Eagles win one. We haven't seen the Flyers win one.
So
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I mean, hockey's always been number one to me. Like honestly, out of the four sports, like the Eagles might be third for me right now.
okay,
Like, they might be my third favorite.
I think
It
you
might be a
said that
hot take.
before.
I probably
Yeah.
have. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because I don't think you could be like if you're a 4 for 4. Like I don't think you could be 25, 25, 25, 25.
Yeah.
I think you like there's definitely like Eagles are probably like 40% for me. The Phillies are probably like 30. I would say like
Let's see if you can do math. Go ahead.
then I would say like the Flyers are probably like 20, and the Sixers are probably like 10. That's 100, right?
That's 100. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You impressed
Wow.
me.
I didn't count on my fingers.
No, I was counting in my head as you were gone. I was like, let's see if he gets there.
I was counting on my fingers.
Yeah. I don't back to I don't know why people like I keep seeing things that like people don't want them to like win. Like people are like fans like upset that they're winning because they want a high draft pick.
Yeah.
Give me wins. Give me wins.
I see both sides of the argument because you don't want a losing franchise, but like you don't want to teach losing, especially to young guys. But like, know.
Here's where I'm at. You tank to get high. Like the reason we wanted them to kind of rebuild and tank is to get that they were missing the franchise altering elite high top tier talent. They did that without tanking. They got Mitchkov. He's in the system. The timeline just completely flipped. So like, do I want them to actively make moves and buy and try to get into the playoffs? No, because I don't think that matches the timeline either. But I also don't know that like selling off pieces.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Is all that smart either.
Plus,
you're winning games.
You just drafted 2 guys. Well, really, if you think about it, 3 guys. Forrester, who was a first round pick, who looks pretty good.
Pretty good.
And then you have
your
Gauthier,
boy Cutter. Yep.
yeah, who looks like a fucking phenom. I follow him on Instagram.
Do you? He's
unbelievable.
He's NHL ready right now.
And then you have Mitchkov, who hopefully will come up soon. Like you have those 3 guys that you can help build around. Like why does it always have to be draft picks? Like why can't they go out and spend money in free agency in the next 2 years? You know, to make your team better. Listen,
Draisaitl.
Listen, I felt a tingle down there when you said that. So, but yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying though. Like they could go out and sign a star. They could go out and sign a couple really really good top end players and make this team better in a few years. It's not just through the draft. I mean, the draft is probably the most important, but who knows? Like they could draft a guy in the second round and he could be a great. You know what I mean? Like he could be the next.
That's what they need.
Or,
I mean, that's
or
what
a
they
first
need.
round.
Yeah, that's what they need. But
what a guy through the draft, or
just a hit on those picks.
Yeah, which
like
picks,
we really
though? Like the later
second,
picks?
third, fourth round picks. Yeah, because we really haven't seen it. I mean, it's nice that we're seeing it a little bit with Bobby Brink this year. He was a second round pick. He looks really good, really good. So,
but I just think like if Cutter works out and Mitchkov comes and he works out and Forrester is working out, like how much more do you like? How like I get it. Like the higher the pick, the better. Like I understand that the better the player, but it's like I don't know. Like it's like at some point, like you've got to try to win. Like at some point, like, you've got to go out and spend money. So like that's how you
No.
build teams.
Now, the one thing they are missing, and maybe they get it if they do fall off and get a top 10 pick, is like they need a true top pair defenseman to
Yeah,
kind of
of
build
course.
around. I don't know that Cam York's that guy. Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. He's looked really good this year. But I don't. And Sanheim's looks fucking unreal. Sanheim is every other year. He's like
Yeah.
great. I think he's won like the Flyers' most improved player award like 4 times. Like I'm not even joking. Like I think legit he's won like 3 or 4 times most improved player because he looks great and then he looks bad, then he looks great, then he looks bad. Like it's
Why do you
so
think that is though?
I don't know. I have no idea.
We share
Maybe
a
he's-
birthday, by the way. I think I've told you that
You
before.
want
but
Travis Sanheim? I'm sure you did.
the exact same
Um,
day.
To the year.
Yep.
There you go. But yeah, I don't know what the reason is. Maybe that means he's just average. If like he looks bad and great at times, like I don't
Yeah.
know. But
It's kind of like
very
Aaron
odd.
Nola.
But yeah,
One year
yeah.
Nola looks like a Cy Young. The next year he looked horrible.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm tuning in though. I'm tomorrow night.
In
I'm in.
Nashville.
I'm in.
There you go.
This is going to be the first time I'm going to try to actually sit down and watch a full game that's not the Phillies playoffs or an Eagles game. And even during an Eagles game, it's pretty tough. So
Yeah, right.
which
8
is
o'clock.
just-
8 o'clock
Okay.
Tuesday.
yeah, just being a dad. So there were some
That
plays I
does
missed
get in the way
yesterday.
Sometimes was there?
So
Yeah, it's times are tough.
Yep.
Do you have your picks? Did you do picks this week?
yes, yep.
Okay. Let's pull those up. We can do our picks now then. Let me see. I didn't do any.
I didn't have a great
over-unders,
week,
so
I
I'm
don't
gonna have to
think.
do that on the fly. I didn't do any of our picks last week. Like I don't know what our record is.
Okay.
I didn't do any.
Let's
of
just
that,
say
so
I had the over under for Vikings Raiders at 40.5, and there's a total of 3 points scored in the game. So let's just
it
show
was
you
0-0 going.
week I
It
had.
went into overtime, didn't it?
No, it almost did.
Oh, it only, I
They
thought
kicked
it
the field
did.
goal. They kicked the field goal with 2
okay.
minutes left.
Okay.
It was going to be
I
the
thought
first time ever a game went to overtime with a nothing score.
That's wild. All right, so you lost out. What else did you have? Bucks Falcons.
Bucks
plus 2.5?
Falcons. I won. Bucks
Okay.
2.5. Yep. I lost. I bet the Texans every week, and they lose. Texans minus 6.5. They got smoked.
To the Jets too. Zach
Did you
Wilson.
see
and
what?
the
Did you see
Jets.
what Zach Wilson said?
No.
He said I went out there, or he told somebody on the team who came out and said, yeah, Zach came out to me before the game and just said, I'm gonna rip today. Like I have nothing to lose. What are they gonna do? Bench me? Like they've already done that 3 times this year. So we
Dude,
went out and ripped.
Honest opinion, I really like Zach Wilson. He stinks, but
I think
he takes an absolute beating in that city.
I
and
think
just
that
does not.
yeah.
He just sits there and takes it.
I think that he's the type of guy that in the right spot, and a lot of guys are like this, but him especially, I think some guys are especially like this, and he's one of them where if he just went to the right place, it would have worked.
Sure. Yeah.
If he
Or if
because
he
he
doesn't go to
didn't-
that spot at 3 overall or whatever, 2
Number 2, I
overall,
think,
whatever,
yeah.
whatever he went. Like, I mean, it's a lot of pressure coming out of that draft, going to a New York team, 2 overall. So no, totally. I mean, I think that's true for a lot of cases where like
Yeah.
situation, coaching, team, like it all
like I think
matters.
Mahomes would be a really a great quarterback without Andy Reid, but I think Andy Reid really
helps him. Sure.
puts he was number 2 overall. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Was
then I had the
that-
Lions, Bears, Lions minus
draft,
3.
What draft was that? Who went one? Who went one that year?
It was 2021.
Was that Lawrence?
I think it was.
Was that the Trevor Lawrence draft?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Lawrence, Wilson, Trey Lance. Ugh. Kyle Pitts. God forbid. He's
How's
got
he
5
been?
career. He's got 5 career touchdowns. They're all not in America. They're all in London.
So you're saying next time the Falcons are in London to bet him
Yeah.
to get a touchdown?
Yep.
Pretty
Maybe
much a
2.
lock. Yeah.
Jamar Chase went 5. Jalen Waddle, Penny Sewell, J.C. Horn, Patrick Surtain, and then Devontae Smith went number 10.
Okay. If you redraft there, Smith might go 5, 4 or 5.
Jamar goes ahead of him. Trevor
Sewell
Lawrence goes ahead of him.
Trevor Lawrence. I think Sewell goes ahead.
Sewell
of him.
goes ahead of him. Surtain goes ahead of him. you can make the case Jalen Waddle goes ahead of him. They're very, very
so
similar.
Close. Yeah, it's close.
Micah Parsons probably goes ahead of him too.
Okay,
He went
yeah,
after.
we were just talking top 10, but you're right.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So,
right, so,
Landon Dickerson was the number 2 overall, or a second round pick.
I had a pretty good pick in the second round.
Yeah.
And then you had Lions, Bears. Lions lost, didn't they?
Yeah, they got
Fucking team. I had them too. And then Rams, Ravens. What was that over under?
Raiders, Vikings, Raiders. Oh,
No,
Rams,
you had the
Ravens,
Rams,
over.
Ravens,
Over 42.5. I won that though.
You won that.
The Ravens almost put up 42 themselves. It was like 37-33 or 37-31,
Jesus.
something like that.
That's a high scoring game.
Yeah, pick the Ravens
I had
every week.
the Lions -3. They lost. I had the Broncos +2.5. They won, right? Didn't they win pretty handily?
Yeah, they
the
won.
Chargers.
Mhm.
Then I had this, right?
I don't know if they. I mean, they definitely won.
Did they win by more than 2.5?
Yeah, it's 24-7. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Saints -5.5. I had. What they do?
The Saints won 28-6. Yep.
Okay, so I won that one. Look at me. Chiefs Bills over 47.5. I think it was over, right?
What was it?
Final score?
47.5.
47.5. What was the final score?
20-17.
20. So 30. No, it's a loss. All right. And then I have the Packers Giants over 37.5, and doesn't sound like that's
tonight,
gonna
yep.
happen. Yeah.
Saquon just scored his second
It's a lot of
touchdown.
time. Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So let's do our picks this week. What do you got?
I have. All right, the Commanders and the Rams. The Rams -6.5.
Hold on. Rams -6.5.
Yep.
All right.
I have, like I just said, always take the Ravens. Ravens at Jags. The Ravens -3.5.
All right.
Then I got the Giants at Saints. I have the Giants +6.
Really?
Yeah, I hate the Saints. I don't know why, but
I mean,
it's a bit
respect
of a
it.
yeah.
Again,
It's a bit of a. I mean, I'm sure that's you win.
you don't hate the Giants
good
either?
money. No, I do, but I just
what's the
feel
guy's
like
name? Tommy Cutlets? Is that what they're calling him?
something like that. Yeah, dude, I actually kind of love. I hate the Giants, but I kind of love their celebration.
What's their
They go-
celebration?
Every time, like the crowd goes
Oh,
like,
yeah.
where were we at? Over under. I got the Steelers Colts under 42.
Under 42.
Yep.
All right.
And then I got the Joe Flacco led Browns, Bears Browns over 37.5. Flacco might put up 37 himself.
Who was it? Browns who?
Bears.
Yeah. The Bears still stink.
They could put up
It's
points
amazing.
though.
They can.
They put up
but-
up points since Fields has been back.
Yeah, that's true. I gotta pull up my app because I didn't do my over-unders. I'm slacking this week. All right, so I got the Broncos and Lions. I'm going right back to the Lions. Well, they can't possibly lose 2 games in a row, right?
I keep doing that with the Jags or the Texans rather.
The Texans, yeah. The Lions can't lose again. They're -4.5. I got the Bears and again the Falcon or the Flacco-led Browns -3. Then I have the Niners Cardinals. This line's big, but the Cardinals stink. The Niners are great. -13.5 for the Niners.
I thought about it.
Yeah, and then let me pull up the over/unders here. I'll just pick a couple.
It's too
on the
high
fly
for a
here.
division game for me.
The 13.5. Yeah, but the Niners. I mean, Niners can put up points.
They're gonna play them hard, I think.
All right, the Chargers Raiders. I'm just gonna pick it because it's the first one I see and it's super low. Over 33.5.
Okay, you sure you want to do that? Because I think the Chargers have only had like
How don't the Chargers score points?
they've had. What you want to hear something crazy?
Go ahead.
The Chargers in the last 2 weeks have 13 points combined.
And I'm gonna change this one.
Just take the unders.
Yeah, well, yeah, I could do that. Now I'm gonna, because I was looking down a little bit. I'm gonna go Steelers. Oh, it's the same matchup you had.
So
I'll pick it. Yeah, I'll pick it because I'm literally just looking down here. I'm also gonna do under 42.
the Chargers have had 23 points in the last 3 weeks combined.
How? how do you have, Herbert? You have, Keenan Allen. You have the
Keenan
running
Allen's,
back.
Keenan Allen's been unbelievable this year too.
He's right. You're the running back.
Eckler hasn't played all
Eckler.
year really.
I know he hasn't, but he's been playing recently.
The
hasn't
coach
he?
stinks.
But still, you should still be able to.
I don't
score
think he played
points.
this week.
Oh, did he not?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. God, where do I go? You know what? Give me the Commanders and the Rams under 48.5.
It's a big one.
It is.
I mean, I guess because the Rams put up points, but
The Rams can't put up points, absolutely. But 48.5. I mean, they're
That's a
gonna
lot.
have to do a lot of that by themselves.
Yeah.
The Rams.
Yeah.
So. All right, there you go. All right, anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
I don't think so.
We gotta, and then maybe next week we'll do like either a draft or a list.
Yeah, we
or
gotta,
something. Like
yeah.
we got Christmas coming up soon. We gotta either do Christmas
Movies. We got to do
Christmas
movies.
or,
Yeah, we got to do
or
movies.
songs or something like that.
Well, I just think there's so many songs. There's only like 10 to 15 like movies that everybody watches. I think movies would be a lot better.
I think it would too because the songs. Yeah, there's so many songs and like there's so many versions
different.
of every
Yeah.
songs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm on board with that.
Like there we're gonna have it of the fifth or how many picks do we usually do? 3 each.
We usually do
That's
5
5.
each.
That's 15 picks.
15 picks. Yeah.
Of the we're bound to have 12 of the same 15 movie 12 of the same movies on our list of the 15 that we each put like
Right.
on our board on our list. But like music, like I could pick 5 songs that you don't like. The fun of the draft is taking something from somebody else.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that's why I think movies works great.
And listen, if we do like a draft of movies, is it like solely Christmas movies or is it like holiday themed movies? And now you probably know where I'm headed with this
Yeah.
question.
I think we'd have to talk to Chris about that. We got to come up with a since there's
Like,
3 of us.
spoiler, I don't know that it would make my list, but like a movie
I
like
already know what you're talking about.
Eight Crazy Nights.
Well, I actually thought you were
Like,
going in a
it's-
different direction. But
What direction do you think I was going?
Die Hard.
Oh no, because Die Hard you could argue is a Christmas movie. I'm talking about like holiday in general. Like Eight Crazy Nights is a is a Hanukkah
Right,
movie. It's not a
Hanukkah,
Christmas
yeah.
movie.
I think
you
we'd
could
have
argue it's a
to
Christmas
we'd have to come with a 3-way vote.
Okay, fair enough. I'll put it on my list, and if
I'm fine with
if
it,
I do
but-
end up drafting it, you guys
Yeah.
can, deny it or
Try to
approve it when
veto.
that happens.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
So we'll see. Are you ready to get out of here?
Yeah.
Real quick, how the Sixers been doing before we get out of here? I haven't been paying attention.
Pretty well.
They're pretty well, right?
Yeah, they're playing pretty well.
I haven't followed them really.
They're on
Is Oubre back?
tonight.
What's the deal with him?
Yeah. Yep.
He is
He's
back.
back. Uh-huh. They
Did he
won
pick up-
146 to 101 tonight.
Jesus Christ. There's just no defense in the NBA anymore, right? Like every game, I feel like they're scoring 140 points.
Nah, that's not true. I mean, it's
It's
not that
not,
there's no
but-
defense. I mean, honestly, like Embiid only put up 34, Maxey put up 24, and those are the only 2 guys in the 20s or
A lot of depth.
with 20 plus.
It's a lot of depth then if they're
Yeah.
getting 140
Yeah.
points and neither of those guys even sniff 40.
Like Daniel House put up 10, Pat Bev put up 12, Marquise Morris put up 12, Covington put up 8.
Bev's been a good signing so far, right? From what I've seen.
Yeah,
Not even just on the court. I'm talking off the court too.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
seems
absolutely.
Like
that's
good,
like
good leader.
He's a tough guy. He's a tough
Yeah.
guy. He's definitely a good locker room guy.
Yeah.
My only thing is like the last few years we've been wanting that backup, like the idea of the backup center. You want a defensive guy, right? Like more of a guy that can protect the rim, get rebounds, things like that. Play a little bit harder on the defensive side. Offensive or on the point guard, you kind of want like a bucket getter, and like Pat Bev's not really like a bucket getter. Like
Right.
he's had a couple good games these last few games, but like I just think those are like outlier games. Kind of. He seems like he's a good guy. He's a nice player. There's a role for him in this league. Absolutely. But I guess if they go out and get like another bucket getter, I just like that at the point guard. Like if they went out and got Alex Caruso, I'd probably rather have him because he's just a guy that can play on both sides of the ball and like he'll go get you buckets.
Right.
But yeah, they look pretty good.
Yeah.
It's still early, but
Oh, very early. Very early.
Well, we're starting to creep in that territory of like, when it's starting to matter. It's like January is when it really starts to kind of.
Yep.
So we're almost at Christmas. So.
Absolutely. All right. So let's get ahead. That's all we have this week. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Check us out over there as well. We're getting out here. We'll see everybody. Well, I guess not next Monday because the Eagles play next Tuesday, I guess, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. We will see everybody next Tuesday. Go Birds.